Hello, I'm Andrew Lawrence King, and today I'm tuning a Welsh Baroque Triple harp. This is the kind of instrument for the Handel harp concerto and other obbligato solos, as well as for a lot of traditional Welsh repertoire. It's an 18th century instrument, and so probably the most appropriate temperament to use is 6th comma meantone, and that's what I'll be using today. This instrument is tuned at A415, and I'm using the tuning app in my phone to give me my A, now I could tune the whole thing by ear from here. There are no actual pure intervals in this temperament, so everything is comparing intervals. That makes it take a little longer, and I'm not so used to the sound of this particular harp. It's only been restrung recently. So nobody need feel any shame about using their tuning app to set the scale and proceed from there. I usually use this middle octave from this F up to the F just below A440, so tuning in the kind of tenor range rather than from A440, A415 itself. So first I tune the outside row. I'm tuning to just to white notes, the naturals, so the F, notice that I play a lot more than I turn the handle, and I turn the handle as little as possible. If I'm listening, then I'm playing and listening. If I'm using the machine, then I'm playing and observing. It also helps to cultivate a playing stroke that gives you a clear sound, and you want to be able to do that with two fingers simultaneously when you come to compare different notes. So I've done the outside row, and now I'm going to do the chromatic row, so F sharp, G sharp, your machine might call it A flat, but this is a G sharp. The app will look after that for you. B flat, now between B and C in the outer row, you can do what you like with this note, and I do different things on different harps. But on this harp, keeping in mind that I might want to play the Handel concerto, which requires B flat in the outside row, I'll put a B natural, an extra B natural in this space. So between B natural and C, I'm putting another B natural. And now C sharp, E flat. Again, these are just the conventional choices: C sharp, E flat, F sharp, G sharp, B flat, and your nice friendly app will do the hard work of that for you. In the gap between E and F, I'm going to put an E natural, another one. And now I've done the chromatic row for that central octave. So I'm now finished with my tuner. You might want to carry on monitoring with the tuner, or even using the tuner as your primary tool. It's up to you. Just be careful at the extremes, especially the very low notes. The tuners don't read them very well. They sometimes encourage you to tune a bit too high on the low notes. If you're not hearing the difference, then you don't need to worry about it, but if you listen carefully, you'll hear that. I find it faster to tune by ear once I've set the initial scale. I go downwards on the outside row to start with, and these are just the white notes. Notice Just lots of playing, not much turning. And just one word of caution, especially with a triple harp, with so many strings, so many pegs, it's really easy to be turning the wrong tuning peg. It happens to all of us. So if you're turning and nothing's happening, double check that you're really on the string you think you are. If you're in any doubt, do a noticeable downward tune, and if you should hear the meow. If you don't hear it, then you're on the wrong string. Doing a downward tune to check is safer than doing a sharp upward movement, which might break the string. So I'm just going down the white notes, B natural, A, G, F, D, C. In the lowest octave, I usually tune B flat. It can be hard to hear the lowest strings. I very often tune to a harmonic. I listen to a harmonic in the lowest string, perhaps the octave, even the 12th octave and 5th. Just listen for something you can hear clearly and listen for it being straight rather than wobbling. Now I'm going up, so those are the Fs that were the extremes of the octave that I set to start with. G, B natural, and now C, D, top G string has broken, but don't often need it. I do advise you to force yourself to tune fast. If you tune fast, the whole job gets done quickly and painlessly, and you'll have the enthusiasm to do it again fairly soon. And that's good for the instrument, and because you tune often, you'll gradually get more accurate. If you tune slowly, trying for maximum accuracy, by the time you finish, the bits you did to start with have already gone out of tune, but also it takes you so long that it's really discouraging, and you don't want to tune very much, so you don't actually ever get any faster. So force yourself to be fast, because sometimes you have to be really fast. Perhaps if you're retuning on stage in a concert, after some, disruption, you want to be super fast. The faster you can be, the better. Accuracy will come with practice. And of course, there's always a trade-off between speed and accuracy. Especially to begin with, go for speed, the accuracy will come. So now we're doing the inside row, the chromatics. So we've got F sharp here, and I'm going to go downwards again. So the next note going down is E natural, E flat, C sharp, B natural, in this lower octave, probably just another E natural. And the lowest chromatic note is E flat. E flat. Just going back to check the previous one. Okay. And remember that we have a B flat here in in the main row, but right at the bottom. So I'm just rechecking that because I moved the higher B flat very slightly. Okay, so now we're going up F sharp, G sharp, F, B flat, B natural, C sharp, E natural, F sharp, B flat, right, B natural, So now I've done the central chromatic row, now I have to do the right hand row. On this harp it doesn't go down very low, it starts at tenor C. And I find it easier to tune octaves than unisons, so my choice is to use this central middle C and tune from that. That also means that I'm going direct from a primary note that I tuned right to start with, rather than going down the octave in the left hand row and across into the right hand row. So I've got fewer chances for errors. So C octaves, D, E. Now this is the primary F that I originally used, and without even thinking about it, because it's what I'm used to doing, I switched to tuning unisons. You need a special plucking stroke for this, so extend the middle finger horizontally, extend the middle finger and push that all the way through to get the right hand F, and then use a more bent index finger, so finger 3 straight and all the way through, a more bent index finger so that you can pluck them together. G, now when you're tuning unisons, you might think, well, it's difficult to tune unisons because I can hear it's not quite right, but I don't know which way to go. Don't worry, just go a little bit. If it gets better, you're going in the right direction. If it gets worse, you're going in the wrong direction. If it gets better and then worse again, you overshot, use smaller movements. If you don't hear any difference, check you're on the right string. String tension on this harp is quite low, but it's very lightly built, and so the different rows affect each other. The harp sort of pulls on itself. So if you're having to make a big adjustment, earlier today I was tuning and the harp hadn't been tuned for a while, so I was having to make a lot of adjustments, and as you do one row, that alters what's happening in the other row. So just grin and bear it, you'll have to tune again, and that's why it's important to learn to tune quickly. So now I've done that central octave on the right hand side. Now I could carry on with unisons, but it's easier to tune by octaves, and that also allows me to keep to my primary notes. So I'm using the primary note in the left hand row, that's one of the first ones I tuned right at the beginning, with the G above it. Here's my A415. never ever turn the handle before you've listened. It might be right, and you'll have put it off. And listen while you're turning. You should be able to hear the magic moment where it comes in line. The summer sun is streaming in, and so all through the day the instrument itself has been moving a little bit, and the strings have been adjusting to little changes in humidity. So it's completely normal that you expect to tune several times during the day, especially if you're doing something important. Learn to tune fast, the accuracy will come. I'm Andrew Lawrence King, and this is the Welsh Baroque Triple Harp.